brilliant people. So what's the difference between intuition and perception? Now, if you've been following along this channel for a while, you might have actually figured this out by now. But essentially, when I talk about intuition, I often talk about internal alignment and external alignment, because having that distinction is really helpful when we're developing conscious intuition. So when we have an internal alignment, it's that all of our parts are lined up and we can hear ourselves really clearly. So that's actually when our intuition is working really well. But of course, in order to be able to express or apply that in the world, we need to also have this sense of external alignment. So you might know intuitively that you need a particular widget or something, or you need to go a particular place at a particular time. But when you focus on that with the intention of finding it or being there, then you'll feel the external alignment, which will tell you how to get there in the most elegant way possible. So perception, of course, has got more to do with external alignment than it does to do with intuition. Because when we actually are considering, the external alignment, the things in the world that is outside us, when we are doing that without any reference to our internal alignment, well, you could say that that's what perception is. Whereas what intuition is, it's more about your referencing your internal alignment, what it is that you want in your own intentions. You've made sure that you're holding that intention in such a way that it works for all the different parts of you. So you've got a really good internal alignment. And then that kind of like becomes your compass and enables you to navigate through the external alignment, which of course is your perception, because we need our perception in order to be able to perceive that external alignment, or to understand what's going on. I mean, I suppose you could say that internal alignment was about your ability to perceive yourself. But generally, another way to think about the difference between intuition and perception is that intuition, at least conscious intuition, is actually more active, because conscious intuition is activated by our focus and our intention. So when we set an intention like, I want to create this, I want to do that, I want to know this, that is what helps our internal alignment activate and become a compass to navigate through the external alignment. Whereas perception is more about, it's more receptive. It's us just sitting there receiving the signals from the wider world. And of course, both of those things are important, because where a lot of people, where they get into trouble with their intuition, is they set this intention and then they attempt to force the world to align to that. So they're almost ignoring their perception. But that's not intuition. That's something called projection, where you want something so badly, you're trying to project that onto the world, and you're trying to make the world conform to what you want. I mean, you see this kind of behavior, I guess, in people who are, we could say, a little bit delusional, or just, they're trying to be dominating. They go, okay, this is what I want, therefore it must be happening. And with intuition, it's a funny trick, really, because when we want something, that we check our internal alignment, particularly with our soul seed or our integrity, because if our intuition, if whatever it is that we want actually is truly going to help us expand who we really are, become more of who we really are, then there is always a way for us to have it, because that's how spirit works. At least that's my belief. It's part of how we co-create all things. But, and it's a big but, yeah, big but. Anyway, how we get there though, it isn't, because what is going to help us expand may be very different to what helps other people expand. And intuition isn't just about us expanding, as an individual. Our own intuition is primarily focused on that, but it is also about how do we expand as an individual in such a way that we can take part in the co-creation of all things. So it's about expanding everything. So our intuition is more like when we've got that internal alignment, so that is, if you like, the assertive part of it, going, well, this is what I'm going to have, or this is what I'm going to create. And then we start listening to our intuition. We allow our perception, and not just physical perception, not just about the things that we can touch or hear, but all of those other energies that we can perceive directly with our brain. And that, if you want to know more about that, you can read my book, The Soul's Brain, because there's all of these energies, and our physical senses only registers tiny slices of them. So when we allow our perception, when we allow that the world to essentially tell us what's going on in the world, our intuition will then navigate around that if we listen to it. So intuition isn't passive, and it's not active to the point of dominance. It is that flow between, active and passive. So our perception informs our intuition, but it informs the external alignment part of our intuition, so that we can find that elegant path and thereby create something that's really brilliant. So I hope that was of help. And as always, remember that you're brilliant.